Howdy folks. Right then, Anthem Demo 2 from BioWare. Right, this game obviously means a lot to BioWare and EA. It obviously does. They put a lot of time and effort into this, and they've already released the second demo. This time promising that the bugs from the first demo, well the major ones, as in getting in and out of games and actually getting onto a server, have been fixed. That's what they've promised. Okay, bottom line up front, it's true. You can get in and out of games without any issues this time. I had one server disconnect in the whole time that I spent playing this yesterday. So, not too bad, eh? Anyway, but that isn't the purpose of this video. Oh no. This is going to be looking at the PC version and looking at how to get smooth gameplay. Now, I have tried this in 4K. My rig will just about run it in 4K. However, it's not smooth and the frames per second are a bit rubbish when it all goes a bit crazy. So, I dropped it down to 1440p and we're going to talk about that. We're going to have a look at 1440p, the settings, and see where we go from there. Because I've been struggling to get smooth gameplay. It's especially dodgy on the Xbox One X. But anyway, this is going to be the PC. I'm also going to be using mouse and keyboard controls. Last time I played this on Demo 1, I used the controller on PC and it worked really good. This time I'm going to use mouse and keyboard. And we're going to talk about that also. So I've got concerns, guys. I've got concerns. Right, so let's get into it. Oh, before the start, I'll better tell you what my PC settings are. My PC, what is my rig? Okay, in fact I'll put a slide up now so that you can take a look yourselves. The main bullet points being I've got a 980 Ti graphics card, 16 gigs of RAM and a 6700K at 4 GHz CPU. Okay guys, so I goes into the game and first thing I want to do is set up my key bindings. Fairly standard stuff. And one of the things I always do is I like to make sure I've got about 4 inches on a 180 degree turn. And it's how I do this is I'll place my finger at the mouse cable, move it 180 degrees, and then see how far along my mouse pad that has moved. Move it back, and it should go back to where my finger was. Now, is what I was finding here, gentlemen, is that when I was moving the mouse back, it wasn't going back to my finger, depending on how quickly I was moving my mouse. This is a real problem. Look, as you can see here, it's getting shorter every time. This tells me that there's aim acceleration on. So I goes back into the menus to see where I can find it. Gentlemen, currently in Demo 2, and I hope this isn't going to be for the final game, and I've been told by somebody on Twitter that they've said that aim acceleration will be off as default. In fact, what they call raw input will be on as default on launch. Now, we've just got to hope so, because anybody who knows about mouse and keyboard first-person shooters or any kind of shooters is that it's all about muscle memory. And you can't develop muscle memory when aim acceleration keeps kicking in. So just bear that in mind, guys, as you're watching all of this video, is that aim acceleration is on and it's not in the options, as far as I can see, how to turn it off. This is a really important factor, ladies and gentlemen, because it really affects how you fly. With aim acceleration on, you tend to overcompensate when you're flying, and this is a stark difference between using a controller and using mouse and keyboard, because right off the bat I was pretty terrible flying. As you can see there, I set myself like little objectives just to test out my flying skills, and you know, I was having to use hover to correct a lot of my mistakes. Now, of course, you are going to get better with practice. There's no doubt about that. And even just the course of the few hours playing this, I went from a bad flyer to a average flyer. Whereas on the controller though, I went from an average flyer straight from the start to a good flyer. You know, that's the difference. Partly because I think the aim acceleration issue, and partly because maybe my settings for flying sensitivity wasn't quite set up the way I like it. I don't know, but it didn't feel good, guys. It doesn't feel good, and although it doesn't feature in this video, swimming on mouse and keyboard is even worse. So let's you know, change the ante a little bit, and let's go to high, or 1440p. Standard settings high, no customization. Take a look, guys, at the horizontal and the vertical movement. You should see how blurry it is from this footage. Even just going through the foliage, it starts all becoming muddy. The graphics. You can imagine how worse this gets when you're in a massive firefight and there's a lot of quick movement going off. It starts to become really, really confusing. I found this lovely little cave here, which I think really shows off the graphics with the, you know, the lighting reflecting off everywhere. It's a nice little spot. So what I want to do now is I want to try and check this out and see what it looks like in Ultra. Just to see how big of a difference it is in Ultra. Like, are we missing out if it's not in Ultra? Because high looks good. Ultra, don't know about you guys, but everything kind of looks exactly the same. I honestly don't think Ultra at 1440p is required. A little bit of screen tear there as well. That doesn't help matters. Maybe at 4K, if you've got a rig that can run 4K, then yeah, Ultra all the way. But I've got a 4K monitor, and even at high, at 1440p, I'm having a few issues. So Ultra is definitely going to be a no-no. So taking a quick look at a bit of combat at Ultra, you'll see that everything starts getting a bit blurry when you're moving to try and take aim at people. Ultra, you would expect this to be a advantage. You know, a bit more clarity, but the opposite effect seems to occur, where everything just, all the colours just start merging into one for my liking. Nothing's clear, nothing's sharp, not good. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the same settings, Ultra, but at 1920 by 1080 at 6 Hz. Now you'd like to think that this would make a bit of a significant difference. Okay, so this is some footage at 1080p. And as you can see, it's a little bit better. It's a little bit less blurry, but not significantly so. Able to now pick off a few headshots a little bit easier. And kind of see what's going on the screen a little bit more. But I still wouldn't say it was the smooth frames per second that we're hoping for here. This is, I would say, a little bit more towards the Xbox One X version now. A little bit more. Okay. So we haven't hit the holy grail yet, I think that's for sure. Next up, 1080p on high. Let's see how we get on. Now, I wouldn't say it was still smooth as butter, but at 1080p on high, I think you get a good balance between graphics, graphic fidelity, and smoothness of gameplay. Because at the end of the day, you still want to see the glory of this game. And having played it in Ultra at 1440p, high at 1440p, dabbled with it at 4K, and now gone down to 1080p at high, I can honestly say I think this is the sweet spot. This for me had, you should be able to see, it's not dead smooth as butter when you're doing the horizontal movements, but it's not bad now. You can still make out pretty much what's going on even as the light fades in this game mode. Okay, so if we take it as, for my rig, at 16 gigs, on a normal SSD, on a normal hard drive, that this is the sweet spot currently. Let's take a look at it in a bit more of a frenzied bit of gameplay.
Yes, going after him. Have you found Sumner yet? He left the fort. I'm trying to get to him. Hurry. Maddie's lost the ability to perceive time and space normally. What? It's complicated. I'll go as fast as I can.
So I think you'll agree, guys, things are starting to look a little bit smoother now. Flying is a little bit easier because the frames per second aren't quite as bad working against you. Things are a little bit easier. Plus I was getting the hang of the flying a little bit more at this stage, if truth be known. Still wasn't perfect. Okay, let's fast forward now into some action. And I think, guys, this is the point I'm trying to make, is without smooth frames per second and smooth gameplay and clarity of what you're trying to shoot, you've got no chance sniping or using these heavy pistols. Yeah, you could get away with it with a LMG or the assault rifles. You know, it's a bit more spray and pray, isn't it? But when you want to, you know, try and pick your shots, you know, you need to have clarity in the graphics. It's all well and good having all these beautiful colours coming at you and everything else happening, but it's no good if you can't actually see the detail. For me, this was the sweet spot. Ooh, walk right into that. Guys, I'm not going to labour the point. I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to say about Anthem 2. Okay, so yeah, there was one more thing. So if you're the kind of person who's got a console and a PC, is which version are you gonna get? Now, I don't know, because unless I can get the frames per second fix on the Xbox One X, I mean the Xbox One S and the Xbox One, I've got no chance, and therefore I would argue that the PS4 Pro and the PS hasn't got any chance either. The Xbox One X is the most powerful console in the world right now, and it struggles. The frames per second really do struggle. So I don't know how they're going to fix that. Of course it's optimization, but are they going to do it? Or are they happy with the results so far? So it's a risk for me. Now the beauty of a PC game, in this instance, is that you can keep tailoring your graphical options until you can get to a state where you like playing it, or it's enjoyable, or you know, it just doesn't completely suck. So, oh, what a waste of an ult this was, by the way. Absolute waste of an ult. Can you believe that it actually takes the ult if you don't use it? Oh, that was frustrating. That was a lesson learned. Anyway, so for me, guys, this is a PC purchase, only because I'll be able to turn off aim acceleration, or on if I want to use my control pad, and I can tweak the settings to a point where the game's playable. Generally speaking, also, it will look better on the PC anyway. Gentlemen, ladies, that's it. Tell me what you think in the comments. It was a bit of a hard video to make this because my footage wasn't always the best, and it takes a keen eye to try and see this. And of course, once YouTubers compress the hell out of it, it's going to be hard to see anyway. But there you go. I'll give it a go. Alright guys, see you in the next one.